Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Over half a century driving the people of Tipperary and surrounding areas with quality, reliable and economical vehicles, new and used. Call the sales team today to discuss your next car or van on 067 24111.
Thanks, Pat. Welcome back to the final hour of Tip Today. Great response to that chat with Gay, with our Tales from the Road. David Dorn was on. Hello, David. Nice to hear from you today. He said, I had the pleasure of meeting and even singing a song with Gay recently in Mooncoin, a gentleman and a fantastic musician. And that's absolutely true. Another listener on, I think it's John Joan, to say, great interview, good man, Fran. I said, well, good man, Gay, because it's Gay telling the stories there, as somebody else saying that he's a fantastic musician and he puts his heart and soul into every performance, and that is certainly the truth. Now, Clonmel's ratepayers are invited to attend an important information meeting ahead of their plebiscite on whether to set up a business improvement district company to work to improve the prosperity and the vibrancy of the town. The information meeting is happening next Monday evening at the Talbot Hotel, and it's at 7:30. It's been organised by Clonmel. It's bid proponents comprising of a range of local business people, as well as Tipperary Chamber CEO Michelle Aylward and the Clonmel Town Team Chairman Noel Buckley. Now, Noel Buckley is with me in studio, as is businessman David Kirwan of Artisan Frames. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Fran.
Thanks for coming in to us today. Would you just remind people about bids, just briefly, if you would?
Yeah, I suppose Clonmel bid arose from the fact a number of business people, along with myself on behalf of the town team, became aware of the likes of Sligo, Drogheda and Dundalk. So we said, let's go to one of those, get the facts. So we met business people in Sligo and we met the bid CEO and so on. And we were impressed with what we saw. But we questioned ourselves and said, that's fine, we were up there, we saw it, but would business people in the town be impressed? So we brought down Finbar Filan, who's one of the chief guys in bid in Sligo, to do a presentation to a random selection of 40 business people in last October, 12 months. And we were bowled over. Everyone in that room said, this is a no-brainer, let's get this going in Clonmel. So that's where, if you like, the bid team arose from.
Why were people so impressed with that, Noel? Was it the ability to get funding and attract
the
funding?
The ability to, if you like, I suppose the frustration a lot of business people would have. Business person is looking at a town from the point of view of business, and they see shortfalls, gaps and so on. And, you know, and there is, every town in the country, it's not unique to Clonmel, are facing challenges regarding vacancy, regarding footfall and a whole range of stuff. So I think it's the sense of empowerment, of coming together to do something. And research shows that a business group in a town who come together to be proactive achieve. And you see, it's the old story. If I go and complain to the guards as an individual business or the council about something, I am one person, anecdotal evidence. Whereas if you're doing that collectively and gathering the data and gathering the research, I think you have a stronger voice. But I think what impressed us in Sligo as well, in listening to them, was the ability not alone to, obviously the ratepayers are financing this, but the ability to source extra funding for projects and to support community groups and business groups who have an initiative idea.
And to do that properly, you needed somebody then to head up this. And that was probably the more controversial aspect of this then. Is that fair to say?
Appointing a CEO.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think you had what I call the clickbait on the media.
What do you mean by that now?
What I mean by that, a sort of a headline, CEO is going to be paid 100,000. That's clickbait. That gets me reading an article or anybody saying, Jenny, what the fuck are they paying 100,000 for? And that wasn't true. That was looking at the total cost of running a bid. Basically, your CEO is not going to be an office administrator. He or she is going to be your front of house person working on behalf of a bid team, working with agencies at local level, at national level, at European level and international level.
And will have the experience to do that.
Well, you'll have to have the competency and experience, and there will be a very transparent appointment process, because it won't be a case of here's one for somebody that we know. Okay. So it's the set of competencies the person will have. And in order to attract somebody with that level of competencies, you have to offer a reasonable salary.
Of course, yes. Yeah. And people will have a chance, though, to decide on whether or not they want to go with this. So therefore
as I say to people, this is a very democratic process. Okay. Every ratepayer in this town will have a vote.
Right, so we have this plebiscite, as you call it.
But more importantly, and ratepayers who are listening, I would appeal to them to come to the meeting on Monday night, because you will have a chance to share your ideas about what you would like to see a bid company doing for your town and your business in the Clonmel area. And bear in mind, you're not, as some people would like to suggest, this is another thing that's going to be put in for life. You are putting in this, if you vote yes, for 5 years.
It will be reviewed.
It won't be reviewed. The bid company will have to come before the ratepayers in 5 years' time and make a decision. Is this a good idea? Do we want to continue?
Right.
And they will have another vote.
Well, that's what I mean. That will be based on a review.
It will, yeah. People will look at it, and if it has been working, they'll say, this is worth continuing. As smart business people, if you find this was a waste of money, the obvious thing to do would be to vote it out of existence.
And just to remind people again, then, it will be paid for through a levy.
It will be paid for through a levy, and believe it or not, I think that this was the thing that we became aware of as well when we started to look at bids, was the fact that this embraces everyone. This is governed by legislation, and the same as in a democracy, it's 50% plus one. If it's voted in, then everybody is obliged to pay into it, the same way as everyone is obliged to pay rates. But I think the big advantage, and when we looked at the data on the breakdown of rates, because it captures everyone, it'll be capturing your multinationals, your large employers, your chain stores. Everybody will be paying into this. In fact, they will be the big payers into this bid. So if you're a business person out there listening to me right now, and your rate bill is €1,000, you will be investing €50 in the Clonmel bid company. That's your investment. If you're a ratepayer that's paying €5,000, you're investing €250. And bear in mind, that's writable off against your tax and so on. So as one business guy said to me before Christmas, he said, I give £200 to the Christmas lights every year. I said, you won't be doing that once the bid company is established. Well, then he said, that's a no-brainer.
Okay, and because that is the question that a lot of people asked around that, well, some people asked around that time, is why should we be paying this levy, seeing that we're paying rates and we're paying our taxes?
And you know, all ratepayers this time got a list of what the council does with their rates.
Yes.
And so on. And the council has functions above and beyond just the main streets of the town, from graveyards to health and safety to keeping the blueway cleared and a whole lot of other functions. But I think the gift of a bid is this is going to be ran by business people, focused on the business needs of people in the town, and creating a town that will be vibrant and one that people will want to come to. And I think more importantly, and I've listened to you and various programs around the country, you know, towns can often get a bad name because of, you know, be it drug use, be it delinquency on the streets, antisocial behaviour and so on. But we forget there is also lots of good things happening in Clonmel. And we are in one of the most beautiful settings in the country.
Oh, that's interesting. So would it be under the remit of bid then as well to sell an image, I suppose?
Yeah, well, that's the gift of a CEO. You're now going to have somebody targeted at branding Clonmel. Clonmel, for instance, even in terms of tourism, is an almost unknown destination. Drive down the motorway, you won't see a sign. You won't see a sign for Clonmel. You'll see a sign for Carrick, Ormond Castle on the motorway. Okay. So it's an unknown destination in terms of branding.
Let's talk to a businessman then. As I said, David Kirwan is with us of Artisan Frames. David, what are you making of bids? Just come a little closer to that for me for a moment, David. What are you making of what you've been hearing?
I was invited to the meeting last November, October, 12 months ago, and as someone who has lived and worked in the town all my life, really, I kind of see the decline, as everyone else has seen. So I was interested in something being done. So that's why I attended the meeting. So I got involved then with Noel and the rest of the proponents in trying to drive this forward. And I can only say that, you know, the positivity around the table each week to try and see a development and try and see something positive happen in the town is great to see. So, you know, I can only encourage it, really. I think it's a good idea.
Your dad was in business as well, so you understand business, you know business. Talk to me about the last 20, 30 years or so. Have you seen decline?
Well, I recall some Christmases when I was a youngster walking down the town, and you could hardly move walking down the town.
Yeah.
Now, my dad was in business. He had a TV shop in Irishtown in Clonmel here, and I grew up above the shop, as a lot of people did back then.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience, by and large, doing that. I left after college in 92, came back in 1999, actually, and set up my own business here. So I'm around about 25 years now in business in Clonmel again, and moved in several locations since. So I've had a business myself in Irishtown, I've had one in Peter Street, I have one in Gurton Fleur now, and just 2 years ago we opened one again in Parnell Street. Now, a lot of people said I was mad opening a retail unit in Parnell Street, but I did it for very specific reasons, and I draw a parallel with Clonmel itself in doing so, because Clonmel is a business,
Yes.
and if I don't promote my business, I don't look after it, I don't make sure that it's functioning well then how would I expect people to come in? And I think a lot is said of the town in that same regard. If it's not looking well, if it's not looking after itself, it's not reinvesting in itself, well then it's a fait accompli, really. So that's what the bids is going to do. It's really going to, and this to the people that are going to come to the meeting on next Monday, to the ratepayers, I would say this, that the first... We have it basically broken down into 4 points: revitalisation and infrastructure. There will be tourism promotion. There will be marketing of the town, and then there will be business development. So through those 4 topics, we'd love to see people's ideas and just what they feel, what they need, and what they want. This is their money. It'll be going into a central fund. It'll be managed by a CEO, as Noel said. It'll be oversaw,
and it'll be transparent.
Well, it will. There will be a board of directors,
yes.
And on that board of directors will be the ratepayers. So it's a complete closed loop. There will be people from the council, as is legislated for. There's 2 councillors involved, but it is a business group.
And before you went along and before you were informed about this, were you of the opinion, look, I'm paying my bloody rates, I'm paying taxes here, I deserve to be represented better? Were you of that opinion?
Sure, look, I think we could all say that. I mean, yes, we pay our taxes. Like, we're sat here in Gurton Fleur Business Park. You and I, we all pay management fees here. So the question could be asked, why are we paying management fees to the group here and paying rates as well? Surely we're looking after our own lighting, security and everything like that. But I think in a corporate citizen's standpoint, you have to contribute to the town. You have to, because if you don't, it won't develop. So I think that's just the way it is.
And of course your rates are going up now as well as everything
rates
else.
Are going up, and one can question why is that so.
Yeah.
You know, like, everything is going up, and you know, the cost of labour is going up, everything. So the council has the same challenges that we all have, electricity and lighting and everything else like that. So, you know, I come back to the point I made earlier, that Clonmel is a business.
Right.
And
you're in no doubt as a businessman that this is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, there's an endorsement, you know.
Yeah, and I've spent the last year and a half going around meeting businesses one-to-one, encouraging. We had to introduce the idea of bid to all of the ratepayers, so we invited Sligo Bid Company down to do a presentation, and that was to a sort of showcase what bid can do for a town. And we got 180 businesses sitting above in the Talbot that night, which was extraordinary. We were expecting 100. So 180 businesses. So to me, it indicates a hunger among the business community to do something. And as I said, all the data and research shows that when businesses come together collectively to market themselves, you have a greater degree of success than rather than just each individual business trying to do its bit.
So next Monday night, you want as many people as possible, I guess.
Well, I'd love to see every ratepayer. Mind you, we have 700 ratepayers. We'd have problems if everybody turned up. But particularly as well, if you haven't been at the meeting on Sligo, and I suppose some people might have been critical at the end of that meeting that they didn't get to hear from the bid proponents themselves, the 20 business people who are putting this proposal before the ratepayers. Well, this coming meeting is about you, the ratepayer, interacting with the bid team, sharing the ideas you might have, reacting to the ideas the bid team have. And when we were coming up with the ideas, we went out to business, we listened, we consulted, we had a range of businesses around the table, we linked up with various organisations like Clonmel, Tidy Towns and a whole range of other groups to get their ideas as well. So these weren't drawn out of the ether or drawn down from...
Also, I think it's worth saying that if you have questions as a ratepayer, it's an opportunity to have them answered openly and honestly. It'll be a room full of other ratepayers, so, you know, it's an open
What happens if a ratepayer, I mean, even if it's decided through the plebiscite that, we want to go ahead with this, what happens if a ratepayer says, no, I don't want to be involved in that?
Well, what happens you as a ratepayer if you don't pay your rates?
Well, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same. It's governed by law. You see, this. I think that, to me, this is the safety mechanism within this, both from the point of view of how the bid company operates and how it functions. Is it's governed by legislation. So even if the vote goes through and it's approved, there is a time. It's time bound by which the bid company itself has to be set up.
Right.
So the same with, as I said, what happens if you're paying rates? You're in trouble. You get notices and so on, and eventually a debt collector if you don't pay.
And how's the levy paid then? And who is it paid to? How does that work?
Yeah, well, it's paid. It's calculated, as I said, based on your rates. So again, as I said, bear in mind, if you're a business that is paying maybe 2,000 in rates, you're going to be paying an additional €100. You're going to have as much say in this bid company as a big multinational who's paying €200,000 a year in rates. Your vote, you have as big a vote. The other factor to be borne in mind is if you have a number of rateable properties, say you have 5 rateable properties, you have 5 votes. Okay, so it's not like in an election where one person, one vote.
Person, one vote.
So
okay.
you acquire a vote by your rateable property.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's important everybody come on Monday night, because this ballot will be taking place between April the 14th and May the 13th.
Yes.
So it's a postal ballot, and a lot of people don't have familiarity with postal ballots because we're used to going into our polling booth in a hall or whatever. So that's a process that has to be introduced.
And if that results in a positive outcome, then how soon will we see bids operational?
Well, if the result then, once it's known after the middle of May, has to go before the full Tipperary County Council meeting for approval. And once that's done, then the bid company begins the process of setting itself up. So, as I said, that's time bound to 45 days. Its first thing is to set up a board. And as I said, out of that 11 members, 9 of them will be business people, 1 council official and 1 elected councillor. So once that board is set up, its next task is to recruit a CEO and decide the competencies it's looking for in that person, and set up an independent interview board to interview potential candidates. And once that's appointed, then the process really begins.
Very good indeed. Well, we'll be following the story, needless to say.
But as I said, if you're a small garage owner out there, because there's a bid map, please come and inform yourself before the vote, because all you will be getting is a vote paper. Lisa Hackett in Curtain and Blinds in O'Connell Street, if you call into her, she has the bid proposal, or you can view it in the council office, or you can email bids Clonmel, BIDS, bids Clonmel, all one word, at gmail.com. If you have questions or if you want to see the proposal, it can be emailed out to you. And we're also looking for business people. If you believe this might be a good idea for the town, Obviously, we need to get out to as many people as possible before the vote to encourage them, when you get this, please exercise your democratic right, and of course to convince them that this is a good idea for the town. So if you're a business person that think this is good, please contact any of us to say, I'd be willing to give a handout in the 3 or 4 weeks before
Very good.
the vote.
And a final word, David, you're of no doubt that this is the best thing for the business people of the town.
Well, absolutely. I don't think doing nothing is an option.
Okay.
So I think, we have to stand up and kind of fight for our own town, really.
Right.
And I quote Michael O'Leary. I'm not a great fan of his, but to give you an example,
Very few people quote Michael O'Leary.
yeah, in 9/11, when all air flights were stopped around the world, what did Michael O'Leary do? He went out and did deals with Boeing, bought up aircrafts at very reasonable rates. And why I'm quoting him is, yes, the town is facing a crisis, as is every town in the country. But every crisis is a growth opportunity, a chance to reimagine ourselves and rebrand ourselves going into the 21st century.
All right, well done. Good to talk to you as always, Noel. Thanks. And David, good to meet you, and thank you for that. We'll take a break. We're back with more Tip Today in a moment.
Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage Puckon. Now is the time to pick up your next van. From the award-winning Peugeot Partner van to the expert and the load-lugging Boxer van. We have big vans, high-roof vans, long wheelbase vans. You'll find them all at Slattery's Garage Puckon. See slatterysgarage.ie.